It is 2 o'clock, and so I would like to call the Board of Water Commissioners to order and ask that we call the row.
Chairperson Einhauser,
Present.
Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Garcia, Commissioner Coleman, Commissioners Forte, Kenlock, and Blackman do plan to join us, but we do have a quorum at the time.
All right, we do have a quorum, so we can begin. Let's begin with the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Mr. Chair.
Supported. All those in favor, please say aye. And that's unanimously adopted. Next, we have the minutes of April the 16th, 2025.
I move approval.
Moved and seconded. Any corrections or changes to the minutes as presented? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. And that is adopted unanimously. Next, we come to public comments. Do we have anyone who wishes to make a public comment?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Brian Peckapaw, Public Affairs Director. I will give the instructions. It does appear that no one's in the audience besides our lovely customer service manager. So I'll just go straight to the online instructions. If you are online, please raise your hand by using the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device. If you are calling into the meeting by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. If you are online using the Zoom app or on the phone, after your name is called, you will get permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon. If you're online or on the app, or press *6 if you are calling in. You will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment. There will be a timer indicating your remaining time on the screen. If you're online and make a comment, we kindly request you fill out the comment card link that's located in the chat. With this information, we can follow up with you appropriately. You'll be called upon once the chair closes public comment. There will be no other comments from the public, and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the meeting. And since we have no on-site comments, we'll go straight to online, Mr. Chair. And the first person is Cecily McClellan.
Ms. McClellan?
Yes, thank you very much for this opportunity. Cecily McClellan with We the People of Detroit. And I would like to know, we did submit a letter that was issued by Noria Hemphill, that's stated issues as it relates to Easy Pay and Promise Pay. So I want to know, one, is that letter being posted, on your website? So, anyone can review it. The concerns that were addressed in the letter were also and have been addressed when during public comment at these meetings. But I would hope that the responses will be also discussed at these meetings. In the response from Matthew Phillips, he indicates that corporate counsel or the law department or the water department will be responding, to the issues related. But many of the issues related are concerns that are addressed by our citizens. And we think that these issues should be made public and addressed during the Board of Water Commissioners meeting. One thing that is really somewhat perplexing is that it was stated at the last Board of Water Commissioners meeting that there was not a relationship with Promise Pay, that there was not a contract. And why was that issue being reiterated repeatedly, primarily by We the People of Detroit? Well, in that letter, it evidenced repeatedly how DWSD identifies a relationship through Easy Pay with Promise Pay. And I believe that issue should be addressed in public because the information that was provided last month gave the impression that it was not a relationship. I would just like to also put on the record that we would like you to, to share the request for proposal process in public. what was the date of the contract signed with Promise Pay and by whom? When did Promise Pay begin servicing DWSD accounts? And does Promise Pay get 11% of the money collected from DWSD customers through Easy Pay as reported? We suspect that becomes an incentive of Promise Pay to not work very closely with the residents that are on the Easy Pay program because it's a monetary motivation to have them end up on Promise Pay. So I'd appreciate if these comments or responses can be made in public, and also that the letter that was sent is published on your website. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McClellan.
Mr. Chair, the next person is Alice James.
Ella James?
Alice James.
Ms. James,
Yes. Hi.
good
Uh,
afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi, I live in East Village on Cadillac Boulevard, have been for 8 years. Cadillac Boulevard suffers significant rainwater accumulation at the corner of Cadillac and Verner and just north of Gosi on Cadillac. And 3 months ago, even when significant rainwater had accumulated at these sites, my own basement was flooded with 2 inches of rainwater. I called DPW twice, but was never informed as to whether my issue was addressed. So I'm hoping that DPW can address the water backup of these 2 sites.
Okay. Else, Ms. James?
Yes. That is my complaint. Hello?
Chair, if she could leave her contact number in the chat, we will certainly get back with her within the next day or so with an answer to her request.
All right,
If-
thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, the next person is Adam Geffen. Adam Geffen.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes, my name's Adam Geffen. I have lived at 1480 Seminole between Agnes and St. Paul in Indian Village for the past 10 years. There's a catch basin directly in front of my home that routinely fails during moderate or heavy rainfall, causing significant street flooding. When it floods, the water rises over the tree berm and often covers the sidewalk, rendering the street impassable. And indeed, I've even lost 2 vehicles due to this reoccurring flooding. Despite numerous reports through the Improved Detroit app and repeated vacuum truck visits, the problem persists. It appears that the catch basin and its connecting lines require substantial repair, perhaps full replacement. I understand that resources are limited and not every issue can be addressed immediately. However, I urge you to prioritize systemic repairs to the failed catch basins on Seminole between Agnes and St. Paul. This is a long-standing problem with serious consequences for residents. Thanks for your attention.
thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have that down as 1480 Seminole. We will address the suite.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we have Jacob Letterman.
Mr. Radaman?
Yeah, speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes. You
Good
have the floor, sir.
Thank you for providing time for public comment. My name is Jacob Letterman. I'm a resident of West Village, a block from Kirchhoff and Van Dyke. The Lower East Side is one of the oldest areas in the city, and its water infrastructure requires investment. I'm here today not to make a specific complaint or request specific repairs, although I will do both of those things. Instead, I'd like to ask the Commission to push DWSD to take a more serious approach to strategic and capital planning in my neighborhood and others, and to better communicate these plans to residents. For nearly 4 years, my neighbors and I have documented serious, sustained, and property-threatening flooding at the southwest corner of St. Paul and Parker. I'll include a link to one of my first emails to DWSD in 2022, if that's helpful, for which I received no reply. Even that email in 2022 mentioned several prior interactions with DWSD customer service, Neighbors had documented the same problem half a dozen times on the improved Detroit app. These were closed out with no action. All of these communications appear to have led DWSD to send out a crew to clean out the storm drain sometime in late 2022. The cleanout did not resolve or even improve the problem. The issue appears to be that the storm drain is collapsed, not in need of a cleanout. A block away at the corners of Coe and Parker, a quarter inch of rain floods the entire street and sidewalk, making it impassable for cars and pedestrians. Dozens of complaints have been lodged over the last 5 years. My impression is that DWSD's response has been the same, to undertake a cursory cleanout and hope this addresses the situation with no diagnosis, follow-up, or serious plan. Neighbors are not asking DWSD to resolve the problem of 19th century infrastructure this week, month, or year. My own impression is that these drains are likely structurally compromised. We understand this might require serious capital planning, long timelines, and no immediate fixes. But if that's the case, we need you to be more serious-minded about these issues. Let us know what the diagnosis is, come up with a plan, communicate the plan, and invest in one of the city's oldest and densest neighborhoods with 2 large apartment buildings and hundreds of units within a block of these issues. Over the last 6 months, I have been in touch with Brian Peckinpah at DWSD after a small amount of rain created a 30-foot sheet ice in front of homes on St. Paul. One weekend, I could not move my car to get to appointments because of the ice that resulted from the inoperable drain. Mr. Peckinpah has been fairly responsive, but this situation has once again been to send out a cleaning crew and remind neighbors to pick up debris, something that has little to do with our current problems. I don't blame him for this situation. What we need is DWSD and city leadership to engage in a more serious and rigorous manner. I ask you all here, what is the plan for our neighborhood? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Chair, we have Rob Vokes.
Road. Yeah, Mr. Road? Mr. Road, are you with us?
C as in Victor.
Robert Vogt? All right, if Mr. Vogt comes back on, we'll recognize him.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, here it is.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thanks,
Is this
Brian, and
Mr.
thanks, Matt
Mr.
Phillips. Yep.
You have the floor, sir.
All right, I appreciate your time and your patience and while I get connected. My name's Rob Vokes. I'm speaking on behalf of the villages, CDC, and all the residents within our boundaries. You've already heard from a couple of them addressing these long-term systemic issues with storm drains. But I want to start off by commending Matt Phillips and Brian Peckinpah for their willingness to communicate and direct resources as needed. They've been great to work with and are both a tremendous asset to DWSD and the city of Detroit. One of the most persistent issues I hear from residents is non-functioning storm drains that have not been working in some cases for over a decade. In response to this, I've been engaging with residents to build a coalition of members that are willing to attend these meetings to see to it that our issues are addressed in a timely manner. We will continue to attend these meetings until the proper fixes are made, and I will not stop advocating for them until we have drains that properly function. We understand that this is not an overnight fix, and again, as mentioned by Jacob, is more of a long-term capital improvement plan. I have personally taken it upon myself to drive these storm drain locations after rain events, and I can say that the current method of operation is only working about 50% of the time. In addition, many of these issues have been reported on Improve Detroit and take nearly a year to see any maintenance work completed. Some of the frequent issues are most likely due to failing infrastructure, so the standard rotting, vac truck, and jet cleaning is not going to alleviate the issue in the long term. We are working together with the unified goal of having proper drainage in the villages. This is a densely populated area and is becoming more so with all the new housing going in. I will continue to document the attempts at fixing. What I'm asking of you all is a commitment to get the drains that are repeatedly failing excavated and repaired. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Vogt.
Mr. Chair, we have Susan Letzman with L. Letzman.
Blackman?
Letzman.
Blackman.
Letzman.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for your time today. I live at 9200 Dwight Street in Berry subdivision, and whenever we get a heavy downpour, the berm and walkway at the foot of my property turns into a muddy swamp. Because Dwight Street rises up in the middle and slopes downward toward this low area of the berm, the water just sits. The nearest storm drain is not effective because the water can't run up to reach it. I've had my sidewalk squares elevated at significant expense because the mud from the berm kept inundating them. And when the flooding has gotten really bad, I've actually hooked up a hose and pump to push the water to the storm drain. There's a light pole in the middle of the berm, and I worry that it might be affected by this repeated water problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
If the water can't get to the catch basin, we will refer that to DPW and follow up on it.
All right.
The next person is Ashley. Yes,
Mr. or Ms.?
Ms. Ashley.
Ms. Ashley?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, thank you for taking the time to address some of these things in our neighborhood. I am calling from my home. I live at 7904 East Lafayette in West Village. And I am calling in on behalf of myself and the residents that live on this street and use the alley behind our homes for parking between Van Dyke and Seaburn. We have a storm drain on one end that continues to overflow with heavy rain, and on the other end of the alley we have a continuously growing sinkhole. The storm drain has been reported in Improved Detroit several times and has been drained. So I thank you for the attention to that matter. However, the sinkhole continues to remain unaddressed. I have reported it. Several people have reported it. Once with the city coming out and just placing a cone in the sinkhole, and since then it has almost doubled in size, creating a nearly impassable alley with also damage to tires, underbellies of cars, and amongst other things within this alley that we drive through to park in on a daily basis. Again, we have reported it, and the city just came out and put two more like caution barriers within the sinkhole and closed the accounts or closed the issue in Improved Detroit with no further action. So I'm just calling to bring it up again. Brought it up at the last board water meeting as well, and I thank you for your continued efforts to address these issues.
Thank you very much.
May? The vast majority of the sinkholes in the alleys are resultant from private lateral connections falling off of the public mains. Our process is we do put a barricade or a cone out there to alert for safety purposes. And then the process to diagnose what the issue is that we mobilize one of our combination sewer cleaners, also known as a Vector, and a camera sewer truck, and where we televise that main. We look up every private lateral connection to the public sewer main along that sewer segment. Those that we notice that are defective, either collapsing, falling off, or plugged with abundance of roots, we will send that customer a letter advising them that it is their responsibility. But I mean, this is an expensive fix that many customers can't afford. The city of Detroit has been awarded a significant grant, a $346 million grant from HUD for disaster recovery from the August 23 storms. I don't want to steal too much of the director's thunder here, but a significant portion of that disaster recovery money is being allocated towards alley sewer repairs. These are private issues. We're not allowed to spend rate dollars on this, but this is the first major investment that'll go a long way to fixing between 10 to 12,000 of these across the city.
Thank you very much.
specific issue to see if there's a letter on file to the resultant house or property.
I'd like to indicate that both Commissioner Forte and Commissioner Blackman have joined us. Is there anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Next, we have Christiane Sims, Miss Sims, SIMS.
Ms. Sims?
Good afternoon. Thank
Good
you for
afternoon.
taking my call. My name is Christiane Sims. I'm part of the Joseph Berry subdivision. And on Fisk, we affectionately call it Lake Fisk when we get heavy rains because it spans across the street from 520 to 521, blocking several driveways as well. So I just want to go on record that, yeah, we might be able to fish sometimes because the water's so deep. So we would appreciate if this could be looked into. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, next we have Mac Farr.
Mac, you have the floor. A number of your constituents have already addressed us.
Yes, they have. And I would like to thank all of them for their time in taking time away from their busy schedules to advocate both for themselves and for the villages. I've been coming to these meetings now for over a year. And, I'd like to preface this by saying that DWSD has done an outstanding job on its lead service line replacement. Additionally, working with Brian Peckinpah has been an absolute joy. However, we are continuing to bring to you guys reports of locations where we have had residents, such as in the case of Adam Geffen at 1480 Seminole, they've lost vehicles because of these storm drains that are not getting fixed. Jacob Letterman was speaking to the point that, he has filled out cases in Improve Detroit multiple times, and the same result keeps happening, where DWSD will send out a Vector truck, the rotting will occur, and there are so many cases in our district that go beyond just the bare minimum of maintenance. We need to have these locations fixed. Excavations need to take place. If there are lines that are collapsed or broken, they need to be fixed. Doing the bare minimum in terms of maintenance is not sufficient in order to sustain the progress in density, in development that we're seeing in the villages. Some of these locations, they've been persistent for the entire time that I've lived over here, which has been like 11 years. So, what we are asking for from DWSD is to go beyond what we have been accustomed to thus far, which is a bare minimum response in terms of maintenance, and to actually begin excavating these sites that are a problem. We pay for drainage, we don't always get it. And when we are having these issues where, people's cars, their homes, their property is being damaged, that's a serious matter. So, I'd like to thank you guys for the work that you've done so far, but we're really looking forward to the next round of actual repairs. Thank you.
Mac, are you still with us? All right.
Okay, Mr. Chair, the next person is Dolores.
Please.
Dolores with a D.
All right. Dolores?
Hello, I'm here. Can you hear
Hello.
me now? Hi. Thank you for having this forum and for giving me an opportunity to speak. I'm the Vice President of East Village Association, and I live here on Cadillac Boulevard. My family, we've owned the home here since 1963, but we've been in the villages since 1952, and flooding has been a problem for a number of years. But right now, I would like to speak to the flooding that happens on the corner of East Jefferson and Cadillac Boulevard. Every time it rains, it floods. We've called in, we've reported, we've written letters, we've talked with Mac Fire, we've talked to everyone, we've talked to Brian Peckinpah, we've talked to everyone that we could possibly speak to in order to have this corrected. And here again, in 2025, we are at the same point. Nothing has changed. As of today, even as I took my grandson to school, the car coming onto Cadillac from Jefferson had to slow down because of the water. Why is that? Why is it that we can't get these things repaired and stop this conversation? I heard Alice speak of the water flooding on Cadillac and Verner, ongoing problem. There should be some answers to these issues. And I understand that there's money from the city to repair 10 to 12,000. I heard you say that. I've been hearing that all year. And we just want to know, we just want to be able to come on the call and say, thank you. Thank you for making these repairs so that water doesn't continue to end up in our basements. I appreciate you hearing me, but I want to see some action just like everyone else. And I'm the president of Cadillac Boulevard Block Club along with Alice. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And I look forward to the repairs.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Mr. Chair, the next person we have is Joseph.
Joseph?
That's right.
Joseph?
Yeah.
You have the floor. Can you give us your full name, please?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Joseph Cornelia. I'm a resident in the East Village at 3445 Cadillac Boulevard. And I'm also calling about the sinkholes in our alleys affecting our sewers and storm drains. We moved in 3 years ago, and right away we needed to repair our section of the service line and update the backflow valve. In January of 2024, because of multiple cave-ins in our alley, the main sewer backed up. This caused sewer water to leak underground and into our home, causing through the basement floor, not through our service line. We reported this on Improved Detroit. After 2 days of hand pumping sewer water out of our basement, the city came out to inspect and jet the lines. This finally made the water stop. Since then, we've reported and re-reported this issue on the app. DWSD has come out and put sandwich boards and done no repairs since. Through this process, we've been in communication with DWSD and told we'll see repairs in January and haven't seen anything. We don't know when another backup will happen until it starts leaking into our basement, and at that point, it's too late. It's unacceptable to delay repairs and have sewer water leaking underground. I thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing repairs get made. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chair, that's it for the online participants, but we do have 2 people in person.
Recognize Stephen Thiel. And Mr. Thiel.
My name is Stephen Thiel, and my family owns Holiday Heating and Air Conditioning located in the Cornerstone District or more neighborhood right at Mac and Cadieux. And some years ago, I'm not sure when because our building is vacant, the water main was replaced out front adjacent to Mac Avenue. While they were trenching for the water main replacement, the trench crossed our lower lateral of our sewer line, so it's gone now. There is no connection to the sewer. We have a unique situation where our sewer terminates at the manhole. So you can lift the manhole and see where it discharges. You can see all the sand flowing in. This was not from our negligence. The property and the sewer have been maintained. But this one, when they trenched through it, that was not something we could control. So I've reported it. We're asking that the water department fix the sewer line that they damaged.
Okay. Mr. Smiley, any comment?
We'll look into it this week.
We'll take a serious look at it.
Did you say the building was vacant? Did I?
Years, and now it's occupied without a sewer.
Yeah, it'll be addressed this week.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Mr. Laszlo?
Hello, my name is John DWSD, and I don't have an issue today, but I came here to say thank you for all your kindness or all your understanding and patience with an issue that I had Somehow on 8/9/24, I paid or you guys charged me twice the bill amount. I thought 8 was the day and 9 was the month. So obviously I thought I'm paid in September twice and I didn't pay $18 ever since because I thought I already paid, but that was wrong. So last time when I was here, you guys had Constance or a lady named Constance who looked into it and she helped me with the issue. So I came to say thank you. Now, as a suggestion, I'm not going to complain, but I would like to, if you can, have 2 digits for the day, 3 letters for the month, and then 2 digits or four digits for the year, so we all know which one is what. But that's not a complaint. Now, to show you I'm a nice guy, I brought you guys some candies and make sure Constance get a couple of them too. Otherwise, I'll be mad if I see you fat like me. But I want to say thank you for all your patience. I always thought you guys were the bad guys in Detroit, but now I'm looking, I was wrong for almost 6 months, and you guys did not shut my water off. So I had to come to say thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you all, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
There's one more in there.
Seeing no one, we will, oh, there is one? Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us your name, please?
Good afternoon, everyone.
You speak into the microphone, please. Yep.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Noon.
Landlord. And my husband and I, we own several properties. And we worked at it all our lives being landlord, and it's been very difficult. As a matter of fact, my husband just passed away this January, just, working so hard on the water problems. And my concerns are, as being a landlord, there have been numerous of problems that we ran into as landlords. One of them is dealing with the tenants who knows how to play the game, who knows how to somehow get the water out of their names and it's on the property, which left me with numerous of water bills. And there has been times whereas I've asked the water company to turn the waters off, and the rules were they couldn't turn the water off if there's a tenant in the house. And I'm stuck with numerous of water bills, and I feel it's so unfair because I feel like if a landlord or a property owner can show that they don't dwell in a particular dwelling, they have evidence that they to stay in the primary dwelling, they have a lease agreement showing that the tenants is occupying this premises at the time, and they leave a huge water bill on the landlord. I feel like the responsible party is just getting away with just getting away with it. And I feel like if I feel like if the water company could maybe look and see if that person dwelled on those premises during that time, maybe with a driver's license or something else, and the landlord is showing that this was a lease facility, and in the lease, the water bill responsibility was on the tenant. It shouldn't be a question. And I got these huge water bills that I'm trying to pay. In addition to that, I had a pipe that busted my house at one time, and it took the water company forever to get over there to turn the water off. And I'm stuck with a huge water bill. And I just feel like something should be done to make the party responsible for those water bills.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have somebody talk. We need specific addresses that you're talking about, but let's be clear that if you own the property, we won't allow a tenant to put the water in their name unless you authorize it. So tenants can't put water in their name without the landlord's authorization to be able to do that. So we'll work with you through those issues. With regards to the busted pipe in your house, you need to have a cutoff so that you can cut your water off if you have a busted pipe. If for some reason that cutoff doesn't work, we can come out and cut it off from the street. But the house itself has to have a cutoff to be able to shut the water off for emergencies if you have a busted pipe. Again, we will work with you with regards to that bill and try to get you a credit for it. But I make the assumption that you're now going to take over running these properties where maybe your husband may have run them in the past. We'll work with you to make sure that your tenants only have water in their name if you authorize it. If you don't authorize it, then we won't put it in their name.
So was some kind of way, I don't know how they do it. To the best of my knowledge, we submit the proper paperwork and the proper authorization, and somehow the water bills is left on the properties. And like there have been times that I called in requesting the waters to be shut off, and I was told that they couldn't shut the waters off because someone was occupying the premises. And I'm just stuck with these bills, and I feel like the responsible party is just getting away with it.
We're going to get the address. The lady's waiting for you right behind you. She's going to get these addresses. We'll look up these bills and we'll try to get you as much help as we can.
So much. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the board? I'm seeing no one, so we will close public comment and we will move to item 6A, communication, receipt of correspondence. And the correspondence is the letter that Ms. McClellan spoke to from We the People. Is there a motion to receive and file? Is there support? Support? Any discussion? All those in favor, and by the way, Ms. McClellan talked about making these things public. Because this letter is part of our record, it is part of the public record. All those in favor, please say aye. And that is approved unanimously. Next, are there any items from commissioners? All right, hearing none. Unfinished business. We never have unfinished business. We finish our business, don't we? So there is none. So next we move to the approval of the consent agenda, items 9A through D. Each of the items on the consent agenda were considered in detail at the committee level, principally the Finance Committee, and they come to us with the recommendation of the Finance Committee that they be adopted. The consent agenda is a unanimous requirement. Does any commissioner wish to remove any item from the consent agenda to be considered separately? All right, hearing none, is there a motion? Yes, Commissioner Blackman.
For the consent agenda as presented.
Is there support? Any questions or discussion? We're spending a lot of money. All right. We're well spending a lot of money. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed? And that consent agenda is unanimously consented to. Next, we move to item 11, the director's metrics. Mr. Director?
Don't we have new business?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Or whatever it is, 10A.
Let's move to 10A, 2025-107. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, that the Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit Water and Sewerage Department authorizes the director to enter into an easement agreement with SLR Fairgrounds, a owner LLC, and authorizes the director to take such other actions may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote.
Moved and seconded. Mr. McGriff, can you give us the rundown?
Scott McGriff, General Counsel. This easement relates to a newly constructed water main located at 20250 Woodward Avenue in Detroit. And DWSD is requesting that this easement is requesting this easement to secure ingress and egress for purposes of maintenance and repair of the water main. The easement agreement is attached to the resolution, which is included in the board's package at page 33. DWSD routinely, enters into easement agreements to access and maintain its infrastructure. DWSD easement requests are reviewed and approved by DWSD permitting engineers to ensure the integrity of any nearby underlying DWSD assets. The easement agreement restricts future development over DWSD infrastructure and is recorded with the Wayne County Register of Deeds.
All right, thank you. Any comments or questions? Has it been moved?
It was, yes, it was.
Hearing no comments or questions, all those in favor of granting the easement, please say aye. Any opposed? And that is approved unanimously. Item B, 2025108, is also an easement with regard to the fairgrounds. Mr. McGriff?
Yes, sir. This is the companion easement. The first easement we spoke about related to the water main. This relates to the sanitary sewer. Located at the same address, 20250 Woodward Avenue. DWSD is requesting this easement to secure ingress and egress for the purposes of maintenance and repair of the sanitary sewer. Again, the easement agreement is attached to the resolution at page 54 of the board materials and included the proposed easement and use.
All right. Questions or comments? Beg your pardon? We don't have a motion. Commissioners, would someone like to move? Commissioner Blackman.
The Board of Water Commissioners for the City of Detroit, Water and Sewage Department authorizes the director to enter into an easement agreement with SLR Fairgrounds, A Owner LLC, and also authorizes the director to take such other action as may be necessary to accomplish the intent of this vote.
And is there support? All right. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? And that is adopted. Now we come to the director's metrics.
Just a brief update on the HUD funding that Mr. Smalley alluded to a little earlier. And let me say that most of the complaints that came in on public comment had to do with storm drains that are not functioning as they were intended to. And that the dollars that I'm about to talk about are going to go a long way to fixing sinkholes and alleys. As you know, we have a combined sewer system, and the same storm water that's getting into those storm drains ends up in the sewer drain before it's released to try to get downstream to the wastewater treatment plant. So these dollars that I'm talking about are going to go a long way to helping to give that community some relief. Earlier this year, the City of Detroit announced $346 million grant award from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. That's HUD, Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Disaster Recovery, DR, flood mitigation and sustainability in response to the August 2023 rain event. And let me just say that had we not gotten, the City of Detroit not gotten $800+ million from the Biden administration in the form of ARPA money, this would have been the largest award, cash award that Detroit's ever received, $346 million. These projects are in addition to existing HUD funding private sewer repair program. The new allocation will be fully managed by the city, and there is no application process for residents. Again, there will be no need for residents to apply for these dollars. DWSD already has 32,000 locations where we know we have issues, and we will identify the areas that we're going to be working in, and each district and each community, and then we're going to notify the city council person and let them be able to weigh in on the areas, and then the community will be notified as to the locations we'll be working in. The City Council Planning and Economic Development Committee on May 15th approved the allocation of 200 million of the 346 to come to DWSD. We're going to use 175 million just for the private lateral sewer lines that have separated from the sewer system that's causing flooding in basements, a lot of which is on the east side of the city of Detroit. The other 25 million is going to be used in a project that we've been working on for a year and a half, 2 years in Brightmoor. That's going to be more of a storm management green infrastructure program. So total of the $346 million, 200 million of it is coming to DWSD. There's about 75 million that is going to the housing department for low-income housing. There's another 10 million that's going to help low-income customers with down payment assistance. But that's all being run out of the city's HUD department. But DWSD will manage the 200 million with regards to the lateral sewer line program, as well as the Brightmoor green infrastructure program. Yes.
Mr. Director, my concern only in the update of the funding sources that you reported on, is that money we already have? And I only ask because I'm worried about what's going on in Washington.
We do too, and we have meetings every day about how quickly can we get contracts in place, how quickly can we draw down on this money, and we're moving with all due diligence to make that happen, because as you know, we're losing block grant dollars that have been awarded to the city, the lifeblood of.
Stop.
We hope not, but you know, sometimes everybody's not playing by all the rules. Things are happening quickly. Let's just say that. But we're moving quickly to get. We'll be ready to get. We've already written the contracts are ready to go out on the street as soon as we get the authorization to do it. So we're moving very quickly, and hopefully, and you know, I was telling Sam this morning that, you know, Michigan, Detroit is the first city to get this money approved through HUD. It's been approved. Florida and North Carolina are right behind us, but they haven't been. But it appears that the red states are being allowed to apply for this money, and it's being approved. And
thank you, sir.
So I'll say no more about that, but it looks like we're hopeful that this will continue to go through. So, you know, there's relief on the way. Sam Smalley, I'll let him, you know, speak to the things that I missed. He's been terrific on this project. He knows more about it than anybody in city government. He's working hand in hand with folks in Lansing and Washington at the city level in order to get these dollars into our coffers and to be able to go. Sam, you want to add anything?
I will add that not only was it approved by the Planning and Economic Development Committee on May 15th, but it was approved by council yesterday, the action plan. The Mayor Duggan signed the action plan, so it's now in the local HUD's office realm, and it's our understanding that it doesn't need to go outside of the local HUD office, who is very supportive of this process. So as Gary mentioned, we're first. We have a very solid plan. It's pure infrastructure. It's badly needed. It has direct tieback to the storm of August 2023. We are ready to go. There is an environmental review process that has to occur. So it's looking like the beginning of the year, we'll be able to bid out contracts and put shovels in the ground shortly thereafter. In addition to the 175 million for alley sewer repairs from the August 23 storm, we also have 9 million from the June 2021 storm that is also going to these alley sewer repairs. In addition to that, based on the number of comments, questions, and concerns about catch basins, we did program into the fiscal year 26 budget additional funding for both structure repair and catch basin cleaning. While we cleaned over 8,000 catch basins and 600 miles of sewer last year, removing over 5,000 tons of debris from our sewer system, we're struggling to meet that goal this year based on some other considerations. But once July starts and those contracts kick into place, we'll be able to ramp up our production significantly. But we will certainly take a look at all of the issues that have been mentioned today. Thank you.
And just finally, I just want to comment on the calls that came in today from Matt Favre's group. And I know that he wasn't saying that there hasn't been any work done in those communities. As he indicated, he's talked to Brian and he's talked to Matt and he's talked to Sam. We've done a lot of work in those communities. There's a lot more that needs to be done. And I'm going to commit to you, I'll commit to him that we're going to meet with that community and we're going to have a very frank, realistic conversation about what can be done and what can't be done at this particular time. Because as you know, there are decades of deferred maintenance all over the city. And we hear the same requests from communities all over the city, 139 square miles. Thousands of miles of pipe, but we're going to do our best to respond to those complaints and be honest about what can be done. It's not as simply as Sam and I deciding we're going to go in and replace needed infrastructure. It has to be engineered, designed, and it has to be approved through Eagle, which can take a very long time to get done. But they deserve a realistic timeline on what is going to be done in the next couple of years and how we propose to pay for it, because that's always the tricky part, is how do you get everything that needs to be done and paid for. But I don't want you to think, and I don't want them to think that they're going to be ignored. We're going to meet with them, have a frank conversation about what we've already done, what we intend to do, what's in the pipeline, and then how we can possibly pay for additional work that's needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions for Director Brown? All right, hearing none. Item 12, any comments by commissioners? And the chair has no comments. Yeah, Commissioner Garcia.
Just comments. I was just going to ask, are we all done with all the issues that happened in Southwest Detroit? Or we got all the requests in? I wasn't sure where the status is. And again, thank you for making sure that people were able to get that information. I know Matt, I always called him, but I just wanted to see, can we have like an update on how they're doing? Because it's going to be a long time recovering for a lot of the families. And I know we're still dealing with it at La Salle.
Well, let's first talk about the work that was done to bring the houses back up to codes and get people in. I think Brian made a request for the last house that needs to have some work done. We're going way beyond what we did in some other houses to make sure that one family gets taken care of. So when that gets taken care of, I think some loose ends to tie up, but most of the mechanical work will be complete. The claims process, we've bought the Mackinac adjusters into Detroit on 2 different Saturdays and had meetings and made a lot of progress. I'll let Scott speak to the progress that's been made on the claims. And we're at the point now that we're requesting information. We've been requesting it, documentation for months now. And we have to give folks, a 10-day deadline, because some of us, I'm one of them, I need a deadline normally to act. but we got to give them a timeline that they have to get the documents in by a certain date so that we can finish processing the claims. And I'll let, Scott is a lot closer to the claims process than I am. I'll let him speak to it.
My question is, how many homes were we able to, assist with? Because I know some of them were destroyed. There was just no way you could fix them, but do we have a number of how many we were able to do?
Distinguishing, Commissioner, between the claims process for personal property and autos versus the process by which we went in initially and immediately to clean out their basements, to replace their furnaces, to replace their hot water heaters, to do mold remediation in the basement, to do other internal repairs so that they could get back into their homes. And as the director just said, all of the people that were impacted by that are back in their homes. And I think we're finishing up the last home now. And quite frankly, as the director indicated, we've gone and done some work in some homes to get them back in that, perhaps went a little bit beyond, what we initially thought we were going to have to be doing in order to make it habitable.
Or how many homes actually we were able to repair and how many we just weren't?
Matt has that number.
Go ahead, Matt.
Commissioner Garcia, yes, in Southwest Detroit, DWSD completed 161 basement cleanout and sanitations. We replaced 132 furnaces, replaced 135 hot water heaters. We replaced 60 electrical panels and completed 22 plumbing repairs.
Okay.
So that's.
There was really only one home that we really had to make a decision on whether or not we would buy it and demolish it or repair it. And of course, we're not making that decision unilaterally. We're making that decision with the homeowner that's in there. But there was only one that was in that condition that a decision has to be made. We can't put any more money into that home in order to, it would be better, it would be easier just to buy it and let the folks move into another home.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, Commissioner Coleman.
I was listening to the information here. So there's funding for alleys. So a public alley, if the sewer line runs to the public alley, that's the homeowner's responsibility?
Private line that runs under the basement floor, out yard, and connects to the sewer alley, which is a city asset. That's a private homeowner line, all the way from the inside of the home to where it connects to the city sewer is private.
I thought the sewer running down the alley.
That's, in a lot of cases, where the private line joins the sewer, it's fallen off. And when the flow falls into a void, it pulls dirt down and creates a sinkhole.
Line ran to the street. If it disconnects, it's the same thing. Okay, all right. Okay.
Runs to the street.
Had to happen and had to pay for it, so.
90% of the homes or more in Detroit run to the alley, but there are some neighborhoods that go out to the street. Same principle, though.
Okay. Any other comments by commissioners? Are there any other matters to come before today's meeting?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
There was one individual from the public that had, before you officially closed public comment, had come online and is now requesting to be acknowledged. Would the board entertain that?
I'm sorry, say that again, please. Oh, no, if they're online now, we'll listen to them.
Norel Hemphill?
Ms. Hemphill.
Yes, good afternoon, and thank you so very much for going back to acknowledge my hand for public comment. May I be heard?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, my name is Attorney Norel Hemphill. I am the legal and policy manager at We the People of Detroit, and we advocate for low-income residents, especially the least of the. Um, we know that over 33%, so just over 1/3 of Detroiters live in abject poverty, and we believe that everyone should have access to clean, safe, and affordable water. So with that, I just have a couple of questions and comments. I want to thank the director and of course the Board of Water Commissioners for uh, just service to the community and the way that you serve community and find creative solutions to the issues that we have, especially considering our crumbling infrastructure. We still receive comments from community members concerning the Lifeline plan, and we did outline that a little bit in our correspondence. Um, However, if we could figure out some creative way to help residents, there are some residents who are saying they can't afford their water bills now, and they're not sure what they're doing, what they're going to do. This actually creates a type of anxiety and fear of losing access to water. And we know that when uh, a house does not have running water for 72 hours, it's deemed uninhabitable, and people can be at risk of losing their children or others um, who may be differently abled or other things. So there are many community members who are fearful of that. Also, as far as the arrears management for Easy Pay, um, again, the reason that residents are incurring those arrears is because of the ever increasing cost of water. We know that there's deferred maintenance in our infrastructure, and also we know that Detroit is not receiving an equitable lease agreement from GLEWA. So we again advocate for the renegotiation of that lease agreement. Detroiters should be receiving about $215 million from GLEWA. We're receiving in the agreement 50, but about 17 million of that we're paying back to ourselves. And then finally, I'll just say that there is a need for public engagement beyond the public comment, so that we can kind of co-think, co-collaborate, and co-create solutions to these issues, because those who are closest to the issues have the solutions. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other matters to come before the board? Then a motion to adjourn is in order. And is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor of adjourning today's meeting, please say aye. And that is adopted unanimously. Thank you very much.